Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Eccles. I am going to walk through with you your notes for today, Intro to Simple Probability. If you have not already gotten out your notes, go ahead and get them out and be ready to write some things down. All right, so we're first going to start off with filling in the blanks. We've got Intro to Simple Probability. Probability is the likelihood of an event happening, and it is expressed as a number between 0 and 1. So we have a number line here. If you think about it as percents, 0% chance of something happening is impossible. A 100% chance of something happening is certain. And then in the middle, we've got like a 50-50% chance. That's equally likely. Meaning it could happen or it could not happen. There's equal chance of both things happening. And then lastly, we've got unlikely, which is in the middle of something that is impossible and equally likely. And then likely, which is, L-I-K-E-L-Y, is in the middle of something happening that's equally likely and certain. So kind of like those midpoints. All right, we're going to read some examples and determine if those things are likely or not based on the situation. Like you can use the words impossible, unlikely, equally likely, likely, or certain. So if it's snowing, what's the chance that something is going to snow when it's 40 degrees out? That is impossible because it actually needs to be 32 degrees or lower to cause snow to occur. Number 2, burning your dinner if you cook it too long. Well, if you're cooking it too long, then it's likely it will burn. It's not certain, but it's pretty likely. What are the chances of water boiling at 75 degrees? Not likely. Actually, that's very impossible. All right. So you've got 3 more. Why don't you just take a stab at 4, 5, and 6? All right. If you're getting, what's the probability of you getting a ticket if you're speeding? It's likely. If you wrote equally likely, I would say that's fine as well because a lot of times when people are speeding, they don't get caught. It just depends on where the police officers are. Number 5, scoring from a safety in a football game. A safety is not a common way to get points in a football game, so this is unlikely, but it does happen. And when a coin is flipped, landing on heads, that is equally likely because it's either going to land on heads or tails. Since there's 2 choices, equally likely. All right. So simple probability is the ratio of successful outcomes to the total number of outcomes. We write that ratio as a fraction. So down here in the example where it says P and then parentheses A, that just means what's the probability of, and then whatever A is, what's the probability of that happening? So the way that we write it is however many times A is going to occur out of the total number of outcomes possible. Right? If there's 12 total outcomes possible, but a situation only could happen once out of those 12 times, then it'd be 1 out of 12. So the complement of that is the probability of that event not occurring. So it's like the opposite. the probability of the event and its complement will have a sum of 1. So when it has the complement, it has that little apostrophe symbol next to the P. So the probability of the complement of A. So basically, you're going to look for everything that's not A and divide that by the total number of outcomes possible. So for example, like I said up here, if this is 1 out of 12, then this would be 11 out of 12. So everything else. And then together they equal 1 whole. So when a probability equals 1 whole, then that means we've considered all the total possibilities. We have them all accounted for. All right. So number 7 is an 8. It's just asking us some questions. We're going to write down the probabilities. Number 7, what's the probability of choosing a marble with stripes? Well, out of the situation down here that we see, we have 5 marbles, so that's the total number of outcomes. And I only see this one having stripes, so that's 1 out of 5. And then the probability of not diamonds. So again, there's only 5 marbles listed. I see 2 diamonds, so we're doing not diamonds. So that means we have 3 out of 5 chances of choosing a marble that's not diamonds. Okay, number 8. What's the probability of spinning a W on this wheel? We first have to go and count all of the little slots here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different outcomes. Now let me rephrase that. I've got 7 outcomes total because I've got 7 slots. I might not have different outcomes, but there are 7 different pieces of this wheel. So out of those 7 chances, which ones are W? And I only see a W right there, so that's 1 out of 7. And then the next question, it says not vowels. Okay, so A-E-I-O-U is a vowel. Okay, so see, I have 2 vowels, but I don't want those, which is why I crossed them off. So that means there's 5 left. So 5 out of 7 would be the vowels. All right. Next page, we're going to read each problem and we're going to determine the probability. We're going to write our probability as a fraction. We're also going to write it as a fraction in simplest form. I'm going to do numbers 9, 10, 11 with you, and then I will let you do the rest on your own, and then I will reveal the answers of those remaining questions when we're all finished, okay? All right, so it says read each of the problems below and determine the probability of each outcome. Number 9, a standard number cube. A standard number cube is a die, if you're rolling a die in a board game. Remember, when we have a die, and it's telling you it's a standard number cube, so it means the most basic die that you have. We know in some games, in some situations, when you roll a die, there might be different styles that you have. Like, for example, in the game's categories, there's 26 sides to that die. So anytime you have the wording of a problem and it says standard number cube, that just means your basic cube and it's numbered 1 through 6. So there's 6 outcomes, and what's the probability of you rolling a 6? It's a 1. So 1 out of 6 chances of rolling a 6. It's also that same exact probability of rolling a 5 because there's only 1 5 available to roll, 1 possibility out of the 6 total possibilities. And then the odd number. So the odd numbers would be 1, 3, and 5. So that's 3 out of 6 chances, but we simplify all of our fractions to 1/2. That would be the final answer there. All right, number 10, a laundry basket has 24 socks in it. Okay, so that means that's going to be our denominator unless we're simplifying. 6 are navy, 10 are black, the remaining are white. Okay, so to find the remaining, I'm going to add 6 and 10, that makes 16. I'm going to subtract. Okay, so it looks like I've got 8 socks that are white. And you can check your work by adding 8 plus 6 plus 10 more to make sure that that equals 24. All right, so we're going to now write all of our numbers in fraction form and simplify them. A black sock would be 10 out of 24. I know that 2 goes into both the numerator and denominator, so I'm going to simplify that to 5/12. A white sock would be 8 out of 24. I know 8 goes into both the numerator and denominator, and that simplifies to 1/3. The navy socks would be 6 out of 24. 4 goes into 6 and 24, so my final answer is 1/4. And number 11, the spinner is spun. What's the probability of spinning? ... So I need to see, it looks like I have 7 choices again. I believe in all of these answers, I think it's highly likely that my denominator will be 7 in all of these. What's the probability of getting not a 6? So everything but 6 would be 6 out of 7, a 3, or a 4. So that's considering both of those, that's 2 options out of 7 total. And then odd numbers. So let me look for my odds. That's a 1, 3, 5, and 7. So that's 4 out of 7. Okay, go ahead and pause this video and I will go try the rest of the problems yourself, and then I'll go over them really quickly and you can check to see if you got them right. Okay, number 12, if we got a vowel in the word soccer, there would be 1 out of 3 chances. The consonant would be 2 out of 3. And these two in our alphabet, you have vowels or consonants. So when I add these 2 probabilities, I get 1 whole because that's all of the letters in the alphabet. So it's either a vowel or a consonant. So we should be covered there. And then the last option was the letter C. That would be 1/3. If you did not get these as your final answers, go back and make sure that you simplified your fractions all the way. Number 13, we've got anything but a bouncy ball should be 14/15. The box of crayons was 8/15. The puzzle, when you simplify, it should be 4, oops, not 4. It should be 2/5 when you simplify. Number 14. In a movie theater, in a movie drawer, there are certain types of different movies. To get a drama, that would be 1/5. Remember, we're simplifying. Anything but comedy, 2/3. An action movie, 7/15. Remember, you want to know the total possible outcomes first. That becomes your denominator. Then you want to go through and find all of the answers. That becomes your numerator, and then simplify if you can. Number 15, we got pizza, spaghetti, and fajitas as possible meals in the cafeteria. We are choosing the correct answer here, and it was D. All right, I hope you got these correct.